Good morning, everyone, and welcome for another live video AMA. My name is Amandine Flachs, and I have been interviewing early stage startup founders for the past year. Usually, they come to my place, we play video games together, and more importantly, we answer all your questions live. But because of the current situation, I had to tweak a bit my usual format, and so this gave us the opportunity not only to interview people involved in the startup ecosystem, not just startup founders, but also expand geographically and not just interview people in the UK where I am based. And today is a great example of that since I'm joined by Fajar Siddiq, who is based in Singapore. But before I let him introduce himself, I'd like to invite anyone to just jump into the discussion and join us in the chat. I have lots of questions planned for Fajar, but I want you to ask your own question. So I keep an eye on the chat, and if you have any question, whether it is a burning question or something you just want me to ask to Fajar, just put it in the chat and I'll ask him straight away. But that's it for my blurb. Also, just before I move on, I didn't mention it, but the video of today is going to be available on my YouTube channel, so I will be posting it on Monday. And if you have to go or if you miss a bit, you can just rewatch it on YouTube next week. That's it for me. Fajar, I'm super happy to have you here today. How are you doing?
Hi, how's it going? Hello from Singapore. Hi, Amandine and everybody on the chat. How's it going? Good?
Yeah. Doing pretty well here. Today is so rainy. Like we had a fantastic weather these days, and right now it's rainy. So I hope that it's not going to mess with the lights and everything I have here. But anyway, I am so glad to have you here. We've been exchanging for quite some time now on different platforms, and so when you stopped by the stream the other day, I thought, oh well, actually Singapore, it could work with the time zone, right? So that would be perfect.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
done the promotion of today's live stream, and to be honest, when I've done that, I wasn't sure what to put for your title. So you have been building. You have several companies. You are an
yeah,
indie maker, but you're also active in so many communities. So let's
yes.
get started by the beginning. How do you
Yeah, let's
introduce
do it.
yourself?
Okay, my name is Fajar Siddiq or Fajar Siddiq. Okay, you can call me Fajar. So I'm 34 years old and I from Singapore and I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I built my own companies like 10 years ago, but I started in year 2005 at the age of 19 years old. So I bootstrap whatever I'm building. So I really like to be on the laptop, on the computer with the Wi-Fi. And I'm a self-taught designer and developer as well. And for my hobbies, I've been playing yo-yo professionally, traveling, and as a judge, and also built communities across the globe for 20 years. Okay, so I was sponsored Duncan Toys member. So Duncan Toys is a US toy company, yo-yo.com. And other than that, I love to produce videos and as well as make podcasts and as well as YouTube videos, just like Emily.
That is a lot. So that I know the situation because I am kind of in the same situation where people ask me, so you're doing so many things, how do you just shorten the introduction? And it's hard, but in the same
It's
time,
hard.
yeah, it's hard. And you kind of adapt to the people in front of you, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's tricky. So you're doing so many things. What is occupying your time at the moment? How do you manage your time? Are you spending more time on some of your specific companies, or what is keeping you busy these days?
So currently, so I work a lot of projects. So projects have like a starting date and a deadline. So I just kind of like follow whatever client wants me to do. So basically, I run a very small design agency, which is just like a studio, just a graphic design and doing website design and as well as marketing. So I run campaign for those small startups back in Singapore, and it's very interesting because the kind of clients and customers that I'm getting from the startups or these people, they are dealing with physical products, and all they want is just like, they want to build a company, open up a business bank, and they just want to make sales in 2 months or in 1 month or third month. And sometimes they have trouble with building their business model. So, I'm this kind of guy, just hop in. So I have this digital solution with tech and design, and as well as marketing and branding. So I've been doing that for 10 years. And so I work mainly on client projects based on projects. So apart from during my free time, I like to go on chat groups like Telegram, as well as on Twitter. So you can find me on Twitter, and I like to give feedback and as well as reviews to other indie makers. So indie makers are founders who are independent creators. So they kind of like work among themselves with the skills that they have acquired, or probably they have studied in universities, or probably they learn from online courses. So I give feedback and reviews to help them to actually grow their product or make their product. So I think there's a few communities that I'm currently inside now, and I've been receiving a lot of like those DMs. And what I do is just that I help them as well to actually launch their product. So how do I help with launching product? Just like making short videos, like the launching videos. You can find the example of the videos at fajarsiddiq.com/launch. So I make these 30-second videos and help them to launch like on Product Hunt, on Indie Hackers, on the social media as well as Twitter. So apart from that, my free time, I sleep a lot, and also I love to cook. I like to cook healthy food like broccolis and some chicken and some rice because I'm Asian. And other than that, I'm waiting to go to swimming because swimming is so important. I don't know why I need to work out, but due to the COVID-19, it's been really challenging. So I've never traveled because I love the culture of being a digital nomad. So I usually travel and work and do my work remotely from my laptop. So that's what it is.
That is a lot, and I love that. Also, I've been following you on Instagram, so I can confirm, yes, you do lots of cooking. I try not to post all my cooking on Instagram, but I see yours, and I'm like, God, that looks amazing. My cooking doesn't look good. It is good, but the visual is not super appealing, and yours is just amazing. Anyway, I
Thank
think
you.
you actually answer a question I wanted to ask you about trying to give a definition of what an indie maker is. I really love this community. I've been involved in a few Telegram groups for indie makers, and even if I haven't really been building myself many projects, I don't consider myself as an indie maker, but I love this community and this idea of micro startups. So if we had to kind of define an indie maker in terms of the type of project, I guess you would put there like bootstrapping maybe would be there. Any other criteria? Like I'm thinking maybe solving a direct problem with a very specific small solution, but maybe I'm a bit off. So what are the criteria for an indie maker and an indie maker project?
All right. So we understand the word in a whole like indie maker, or just being indie, or just being a maker. So I think the term here is about you're in the industry whereby you're in the tech industry, technology, design, as well as being creative, and as well as being an entrepreneur. So this is the industry that we are in right now. So it's just a matter of another thing is a matter of your skills, which is your knowledge, and which is your finance, right? So every business or everything that you want to start probably need a capital, a sum of money. Probably you would probably need to buy a laptop, or probably need to buy something, or to build a business. So a lot of people actually spend a lot of money on learning. So learning is really important. So being an indie maker, I think, is to learn. So it's very important to upgrade our skills. So there's so many courses online today. So you want to learn about web development, or you want to learn how to make an app, you want to learn how to make a graphic design, how you make posters, and how you make videos, and so many digital things that you actually can make to monetize. The ultimate goal is to monetize and make money online, so you can get clients to buy, or build something you want. But as you go on learning, you want to build. So which one? So build first, or you want to learn first. So it really depends on individual. So some of them kind of like just learn and build. So as for me, my experience is just like I was very curious about the technology. So I'm always look out for new technologies. For example, like Jamstack. So Jamstack is like JavaScript APIs, and as well as markup. So Jamstack also is very good because you can build MVP really quickly, and you also can do less code, and also as well as no code. And the website that you build is privacy friendly, and as well as it helps to secure as well. And it's static, of course, but you also can build dynamic using APIs. So apart from that, I like to share being an indie maker. Also, a lot of people worried and concerned about, is this like a full-time job, or is it like being an indie maker, like sometimes people will ask, like our friends, our family, our close friends and family in real life, they will probably like, hey, what are you doing for a living? Oh, I'm an indie maker. Probably people will like laugh at you. What, indie maker? Like indie from India, or like indie like indie band? So just being an indie maker is pretty much, it's like a culture. You kind of like, this culture have like, they talk about bootstrapping. They talk about people working remotely. We talk about people who does a creative and tech. And as well, there's a lot of indie makers as well who is producing content with no code. So they have like people who produce videos, podcasts, even they craft a lot of those DIY projects. So they started from do-it-yourself projects. For example, we can actually build like a wooden laptop stand. So for example, this one here in my video. So you can build this. So if you want to be an indie maker, doesn't mean you need to be like a techie person, or like a coder or developer or software engineer. So you can build a wooden one, and you can learn this by just using a pen or a pencil with a piece of paper, and just like sketch it out, as many sketches as you think you like it, and then you can share this to social media and ask for feedbacks and reviews about what people think about this design. And if you really like it, you can start a Kickstarter project, or you can actually just share it, and probably you can also get funded, or you can just build the project based on the money that you have, and then you can use those service that actually get like small sort of like a patron. So they have this very popular websites like ko-fi, like kofi.com, and buymecoffee.com, like gumroad.com, like patreon.com. There's so many all these for creators to actually showcase their digital work, and also like physical product. So it's very important for us, like being an indie maker, we need to realize we need to learn about to do things legally as well as like whether is this legal, do I need like proprietary thingy, whether should I apply for this license. There's so many things that we can actually learn. So I think one of the best way to be an indie maker is to start a very small company. So like a sole proprietor thingy, or is either you start a private limited, either or. So you have to learn how to manage a company, just small company. And I started with just one company, and I started building all these small projects, and it's called like micro startups. But that is before I jumped into micro startups. It's just that it was not even a startup, because it was just like a piece of project that I want to work on within 1 month and 2 months, and just sell whatever I have and make money and pay my bills and done. So I started with one company, and with that one company itself, I started to learn about managing projects. That's number one, where you actually scale and make money and make business out of it. Second thing, you actually learn how to do income tax, like your tax. When you run a business, you pay taxes, and these taxes will contribute to the economy based on the region of your country. So where I'm from is Singapore, so we pay taxes. And apart from that, it's like your healthcare. It's so important. being an entrepreneur or being an indie maker, someone who wants to do a business, you need to take care of your health from time to time. So I learned all this in the beginning stage, and at the moment I want to start a company, I realized that the next thing, the technology changing so fast, so rapidly. We need to upgrade our skills. We need to keep up with the new thing in the trend. There's so many trend every time, and there's so many people doing things huge. There's always these two things. Like, it's either you are the disruptors, or it's either you are like those global leader in the market. So I want to remain small. I don't want to think so much about getting tied up to so many things. So I start small one company, and then just small projects. And then one of that small projects that I started, it got serious, and I started second company and third company. I kind of just built this up within these 10 years, and I manage within tech and design industry. And right now, I managed to do some automation so I can earn some money online with the platforms that I'm earning. And apart from that, I do B2B. And other than that, I'm building a lot of micro startups right now, and it's in the process. So I have I think about probably 5 domains right now that I bought, that I only managed to do the website probably 30 to 50% of it. So it's not launched yet, but I've been busy helping other makers as well. And being the maker is amazing because it's independent. So a lot of people wants to be independent, but they're afraid. But don't worry, there's a lot of people online who is very successful, who has started indie, the way of indie, the culture of indie making, and they kind of just start a company, and after that they kind of build a company. So you just kind of grow, you know. So for my early days, I started to do services, like you want a graphic design, and I will just do a design. So those were my early days. As I grow, you kind of just want to make things better for your business and as well as the product as well. So how I do that, though, you can do a lot of methods. So probably for example, you can actually draw an illustration of many design, and you can bundle it up, and you can sell it on some marketplace. So people will just buy it, and you kind of earn it every month. So it's the way how you sell it. So it's very important to have the skills and the way how you're going to sell the product. So these are just a few things, just an example that I can actually share. So there's more than that as well. So to answer Eminem's question, being an indie maker, I think being independent.
Okay, that is the final word of what it is being an indie maker. I love the entire explanation, and also the fact that you give an example, just out of the blues, you pick something from your desk and it is right here in front of you. You don't even need to move to illustrate what you're talking about. I love that. And really, I really like what you've been, like all the different aspects of being an indie maker, and also the fact that, well, my definition was maybe a bit narrow, but yours is definitely covering a lot of ground. And that means that lots of people who are building projects right now, they don't necessarily identify themselves as indie makers, but actually they should be involved in the community, because there is a lot of similarities, and they are eventually indie makers, even if they don't feel like it yet. You mentioned something very interesting, which is the importance of marketing and launching. And you've been helping other indie makers launching their own project. So you mentioned Product Hunt, but also other tools like Indie Hacker. So what are the things that you have to do to have a successful launch for your indie maker project or your micro startup? Is there a secret formula or something like you need to have on your to-do list before launching?
Yeah. So so a lot of people kind of they want to be perfectionists, or they want to make everything so perfect and polished and solid.
Yes.
But I think in this reality of life, we are humans, so we make mistakes, we have bugs. Sometimes we have to refund money. Sometimes we have issues with some dispute with people and some kind of dealing. These things tend to happen. Something is not perfect in the world. So what we should be focusing on is the idea that we really want to build. And if we have that idea, we just kind of stick to it, and then kind of just build it, and then get feedbacks. And after you get feedbacks, and you will have 100 over opinions and views from other people, and you kind of get like really confused, in the state whereby like, should I do it or not? Should I not do it? Should I polish this? Should I make this better? Should I add in more feature? Should I charge the price higher or lower, or just like so okay? So all these conflicting thoughts and this kind of like make you confused and making you difficult is the kind of mentality that you should be understand. So a lot of people, if they want to start a project, make a list, okay, like a simple to-do list, like a piece of paper and a pencil and a pen, and work closely and get advice with the people who have done successfully. So that's rule number one. Okay, look up to the people who have done successfully. Secondly, ask advice to the right people who have the knowledge in the particular set of problems that you are facing that you want to solve. And thirdly, a very important thing is the support community. Support community give you a lot of good vibes. It's really important because sometimes you feel stuck at what you do and you can't really share this to your family or your friends. You know what I mean? And people will probably say, it's okay, you're not going to do this, probably you can do it better. This is the kind of advice we don't want to hear. Even though it sounds positive, like your friends will probably say, don't worry, bro, or don't worry, sis, or okay, you would do great, don't find. I mean, this is just encouraging words, but thank you. But I'm talking about solving technicality problems, like something that's really difficult and has been bothering your mind. So I think it's really important to go to the right people and find sources that actually could help you. So that's the whole picture in the beginning stage. And then you kind of like just want to build from the idea to the MVP. So MVP works really not simple, but something that you don't want to have similar ideas with other people in the market. But of course, you don't want to build something so different and it takes longer time. So you want to build something within the time that you have, and you just kind of build it. And then once you're done with what you did, and most importantly, start monetizing at the early stage. So a lot of people, they don't understand why monetization is important for them, because a lot of people, they think that monetization is not important because they think that, monetization, I'll do this later. I want to grow followers first or users first. I want to launch an alpha, or I want to launch a beta version and then get users. So for me, you got to finalize your pricing. But of course, it's a way of getting users getting on your platform. So this, what I can say is using those medium platforms like newsletters, and you can reach out to other people to share about your product, and you can invite people, like send invitation to people to the website or the app so that people can join. The first 5 people who join or install or download your app or go to your website is the most important. Don't focus on like your first 100, your first 200. A lot of people, they want to go for big numbers. But when I started a lot of my projects, also as well as community or the products that I'm selling, I always focus on this like first 3 or 5 people. So it's very important because these are the first few people who actually believe in your product, they believe in your vision and your mission. So after that, you will need to prepare for the like soft launch, or whether like a different kind of launches. So you can have a varieties of launches. Like, you can have a different concept, like launching with a different kind of theme, like maybe like a holiday theme or a cultural theme, like based on the calendar, and you can have like soft launch kind of theme, and then and last but not least, which is the official launch. So what you should do for your official launch, I think the most important thing is you are ready to make business. It's like opening a shop. So you must be prepared for customer service, chat support, emails, getting refunded. Your terms and conditions must be right. Your privacy policy must be right. I think these are the important things, apart from just polishing your products. I'm pretty sure if your skills are good in web development or creating an app or like designing, I'm pretty sure your product will be great. But of course, people will always say like, I have to make it polished. I need to over engineer this, or like I have to really work on it until it's polished. But sometimes people don't really care. So you just do it and just ship it and just launched it. Okay, once you launched it, you can now see what people are responding, and then you kind of just get those comments, feedbacks, emails, response, or probably calls or even video calls. So I think one of these tips that I can share is nothing secret. Honestly, there's no secret to this. It's just that getting the right audience. So if you're building like a tool, so you gotta find the audience for people who likes to install the tools. Like if you want to build for people like for like consumer kind, like user kind, who wants to use for something, then you can market for that kind of audience. So you have to see your audience and then go to the right social media platforms. Okay, so to do that, as for me, I use Twitter, and I find that Twitter is full of words, right? So
Yes.
sometimes it kind of like reading all day. Like every time you scroll up, is words and words. Even on like Product Hunt, is like words and product, words and just images. So I found this kind of like a way of kind of like make it very interactive. I just want to take like 30 seconds of your time and I make a 30-second video and says about the product. So I will go like something like introducing your company logo or your product name, and then it goes like, this is how it works. Like it helps to solve this problem. And then we have blah blah blah, like thousand over sort of like things. And then sooner or later, for more, sign up now. Or probably, and then you'll just share it on Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is that you are on the social media platform. But not to forget, pick three winners probably is a way of marketing. Pick three winners and some giveaway license or like giveaway product, physical product. Those who retweet or click like randomly, it's very important to have some fun in the business when you launch. You don't want to stress out because launching, people always look for votes or like likes button or like love. I don't know why, but we should focus on the leads as well.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting leads, like probably you're only getting like 5 or 10, just be grateful. Just be grateful. I think it's very important. Okay, I've done with 5 sales. That's it. I'm happy. But then how do you actually grow from 5 sales? So from the launch that you did, you can actually share the link that we have launched this, a week ago or a month ago. So you can share not by spamming. So don't do spamming, but share quality posting or news about your company that is growing. And don't be too quickly keep adding on the features, because that will actually change the way how people think about your product. So what you can do is just write a story. So people love story. So story, like for example, you can create a blog or something, talk about how you actually built the product, and then share the article with people. And if they're interested, you can actually buy this uh, product or purchase this license or this software or this app, so on and so forth. So this is pretty much a few examples. And last but not least, I want to share is to build a community.
Yes.
Why is it so important? Because community will amplify or boost the voice, the volume. It's like right now you can hear me, right, at the volume of 70 probably. But now with community, it will increase 100 or probably like 200. I don't know how, but you can do that. But just choose the right kind of platform that you want to grow your community. Is either you want to build a forum, whether you want to build a discourse, whether you want to build Discord, whether you are on Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever it is. But make sure that it have this engagement. Engagement is so important, and to do engagement, you want to be as human as possible. You don't want to approach like you are selling something. You want to keep on selling and selling and selling, because if you keep on saying like you want to sell, people will just run away. People won't join the community. It needs to have engagement about your product, how it actually helps, and actually it's solving your day-to-day basis stuff. Or some people, they just want to use your product because they want to they want to be part of the community, because they are your fan. You got to make that fan level. So it's very important to have community, because community will give you one of the best feedback as well. So that's what I can share a bit more about, like product launching here and there. There's a lot of articles out there, but I'll recommend for those who want to start, they can try to do anything that is digital product and try to launch on Product Hunt, like probably every 1 month, if that's okay. But some people are quite hardcore. They kind of just ship every 2 weeks. I've seen people also launch in 1 year, I think more than like 50 over projects. It's kind of, it depends your skill, depends on your skill, and depends on your time, and also the ideas that you have.
It is very inspiring. I mean, you've been sharing so many tips right now. I try to keep up with everything, taking notes, but I may have to re-listen to this part of the interview to put in the channel's description, in the video description when I put it out, because I think that is very insightful. Like, it's not just about talking about what it is, but actionable tips are very key. I have to say, I'm thinking about some ideas also to launch. I'm working on my own startup, but this is a real startup. So I'm also thinking about a few ideas to launch right now. So definitely took some notes here, and I'm sure many people in the chat did the same. You mentioned also the importance of building a community. So you just talked about that, and also talking about telling a story. I've seen, before chatting with you recently, I saw several times the notion of open startups, and I saw it then on your website, so I thought I need to ask about that. What is an open startup? What it's like to be an open startup? I understand that it's about sharing your journey, your metrics with everyone as you go, but what are the objectives apart from building a community and telling a story? Is there other objective or other benefits than just the marketing aspect and communicating to the world, like doing some PR? What really it's like, and what is your take on that?
Okay, so there's a lot of things when we talk about open startup. It's mainly a culture. Okay, why people are promoting this culture is because that they realize that transparency is the future. When we talk about transparency, means we want something that every human could actually know and have, and could actually use this information, and could actually improvise and to make it better. In these days, we can't we learn mathematics. We probably, when we grow older, we learn accounting, how to manage our money, and so on and so forth, right? Like paying bills and probably saving your money. But have we actually learned the way how businesses running their company and how much they are earning every month? I think this is really important, because like, I want to know company A, company B, company C, how much money are they spending on their cost of starting that particular startup, or that particular software, or that particular industry, or that kind of business model they are making. So I think when we talk about this open startup, it's about the culture of, we want to know how much is the cost of that particular thing that they want to build. And then we know, oh, okay, this is how much this company A, B, C, D, E, whatever it is, the name of the company that is actually, forking out the money to run this. Oh, okay, maybe I don't want to do this, but maybe I want this. It's like having an option. It's like, you want to drink coffee or you want to drink a tea, that kind of thing. So for me, you want to look at these metrics and so on and so forth. Like, when we look at numbers, a lot of people will see numbers as something that they want to be driven. So especially money. So some people are, they're so driven about money. So numbers is like the money game. And some people would want something that related to the like subscription model. So they look at the model and they will go like, okay, this month I earn about this amount of money and I have this amount of user. Oh, next month I have someone not using my service anymore. So I'm losing at least five, and I want to know why these five people like get away or not using my service or my product or my app or my website anymore. So from there, you improvise and make it better. So the open startup culture, it helps you to understand these metrics, and these metrics and these stories will actually kind of grow. Apart from that, people only will look at this as like a marketing way of understanding. Like people sharing, oh, I earn this much, I get this amount of views, and I get this amount of subscription, and we are open startup. People always do that, but there's more deep insights when we talk about like data. Like if you are money driven, I think you should be also data driven. So you want to use those analytics to actually monitor your website, and you can use like all these heat maps, and you want to see where people are clicking, and which of the best area of your product actually works best on the user experience. So data, being focused on data is really important, and we also understand that being open also helps other people to actually get not just motivated, but also get them to actually understand about how we are running the business. And it's not easy to run the business because you have so many costs, right? There's so many bills, there's so many things, and so many much time that you have already invested, not just money but time. So with all these sort of like information that you have and you share it with people, and then it kind of like helps others to actually understand. But not many people will probably share transparency. You can probably go like some few projects, like maybe side project turning to profitable business like micro startup, and probably you focus then on like some transparency, and probably you have some other company stuff, you probably don't share that because maybe that is only needed to maybe do your tax assessment, or like your something that's related to the authority, to the government. So you don't share those kind of information because those are sensitive or personal stuff related to you and other stuff. So open startup more focus on those like bootstrap micro startups, and those like side projects, and those kind of like for the fun of it kind of project, because there's a lot of projects that people build for fun and they really enjoy. And there's a lot of people as well doing things seriously. And I've seen a lot of all these makers or these founders or hackers, they build things either really quickly, or they do it slowly, or they just kind of just give up. So I think when you see open startups, you can see some of these really good examples from barmetrics.com, as well as there's a few companies who are into open startups like Nomad Lease and a few other websites that you can just go to indiehackers.com and see some of those users and click on their profile, and you can see those metrics, like some of them are on it, and as well on Barmetrics as well. And now we also have like just not open startups, but we have like open makers, like people are sharing about themselves, like what they want to share. So it's about transparency. In our generation now is about transparency, because social media is so public, right? People share about their life, the photos and videos. Why not share about the bills that you're paying, or the cost that you're paying, or the business that you're running? I think that will actually change the world, or change the environment, how it actually impact ourselves and the ecosystem of running a startup or running a project. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. We actually have a question related to this on the chat, but before that, I'd like to say hi to a bunch of people here. Luke said that he never heard of indie makers before, but he find the concept very interesting, and he said that focusing on the community is just a fantastic point. We have David also, who I think you saw him yesterday or this week, and he says that mango juice lovers community equal 2,000 and X engagement, like multiple of 2,000 engagements. So yes, definitely. And Wanda, who loves all your tips, and she actually asked about, along with transparency, is there any other trends that you are excited about right now?
Right now, the
Yeah.
trend, I'm really excited about problems about technology that haven't been solved for many years. For example, like I buy a laptop from Apple store, right? For example, I
Yes.
buy a laptop from Apple store. So Apple is known for like really huge company when it comes to technology. They can ship tons of laptops and products. Okay, but when it comes to like, when you have a problem with the device, which is the technology itself, how do we actually solve this? How do we actually solve in terms of like, uh, the turnaround time? How fast can you solve a problem? The problem, like the laptop is broken, or probably you get it fixed. So you probably have this authorized provider, or probably you have the Apple shop itself, or probably. But this is in the generation whereby things we don't understand. It can happen unexpectedly. For an example, COVID-19. So how do we actually adapt to these changes? Like being someone who's doing business or in the tech or design industry. So you got to find solution, whether they can actually pick up your product and get it fixed, or it's either you can just go down there. But how about your health? What about you going there? Are you going to be safe? So these are the kinds of things that we should be concerned about for the world right now. So how we actually also focusing on the economy, because right now I think everywhere part of the world, everybody is trying to focus on the recovery of the economy. What have happened for the past 3 months or 6 months or since January, because that was the virus started in Wuhan in China. Ever since, and it's affecting the businesses and the economy. So we got to understand the economy in terms of in the gig economy, or the knowledge economy, or the economy of understanding the marketplace. So there's so many things that we should know about the trend that is coming, which is, I think, is about how do we actually survive. So I think the trend will always grow with wonderful ideas, especially technology, because when we are in a situation that we are stuck or is critical, I think it's very important we should focus on how we actually do things, like unexpectedly, based on the turnaround times. For example, like COVID-19, right? So when COVID-19 happens, everybody got shocked because the borders starts to close. Nobody can travel. Everybody got to stay home, and then every all the clusters that happen and contact tracing were all traced. Data API was the API for COVID-19. People start building, they start to gather the data, and it was like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of projects I've seen online, and people talking about like all these corona tracker or COVID-19 tracker, because they want to provide the data, for those who are infected, those who have passed away, and as well as some certain areas. So I think this is very important. We should improve on the trends of on the healthcare, as well as our livelihoods, because if we are stuck in this COVID-19 for the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and 4 years, are we going to lose our job? Are we going to not making money? And what's happening to the economy? I think this is the concern right now, because like I don't know, like will we ever still have money, or I should think like, can I still have food on my table? Because that will be my concern. Because if the grocery stores are closed and everybody is rushing and buying food, I think I'll be thinking not about the technology, but I'll be thinking about food is the first thing. So how do we solve this? I think it's very important. The trends that's coming, that we should focus on, like remote working, and how we actually should adapt to what's happening to the economy right now. Yeah.
Yes, and those are definitely the big question. I do have another question from Amelie, who is watching on Periscope, and that is so nice to see you here, Amelie. It's been too long.
Amazing.
So Amelie is asking, what is the hardest thing as an indie maker? Is it hard to keep motivated to finish a project, for example, or what was the really hard part?
I think the hard part is just that it's very simple. When if you're up there, you can see everything, right? You can know a lot of information. You can see other people's success. You have like people who are successful around you. You can have a lot of probably money, but there were times that things get overwhelmed, or you get anxiety. Because why? Because you're doing so well, you're doing so good, and it's difficult to be alone. So you need to be surrounded by the people who can actually not just be a support, as like peer to peer, saying all the good words or sharing good advices, but also you need to have a handy group of people who have a certain set of skills that can actually help you out if you have some problems with your website, or probably your app, or your project, or your company. So that is very important, because business have to keep on running. So I think as an indie maker, I think is the most hardest part is when you are alone, when things are not working out and you just stuck there, and then it is horrible. And the worst part, if you are facing some overwhelmed difficulties, like all this challenging, and you kind of like have these meltdowns, some of the days, and then probably you don't have money because you probably pay your bills, or probably you spend so much on some other stuff, and then you don't have saving or something. Because there will be times that in life that certain things that you can't question how it works, but you did try to get help from others, probably a family or friends or somewhere, but you get stuck. That's the reason why the government always there to support us. Like they give COVID-19 support grant, and they give us a lot of things. So it doesn't matter which part of the country you are, but don't forget about your government. So to always work closely with your government and share your problems if you are facing some difficulties within that 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or whatever the month is, and probably you can get support like from the COVID-19 fund or some thing, it can help you during the difficult times. Yeah. And at the same time, I think the hardest part about being indie makers is just that, if you are an introvert, I think it's difficult. So to overcome that, you can just go to the community and chat group, because I've seen with my own eyes that a lot of I've seen like indie maker who is introvert, and then he have difficulties. And then I saw another indie maker, he was very depressed about his life. So sometimes it's just not about the products itself or the company that he built. It's just like on the personal level of the person character. So I think having a community, having the like-minded people, and is so important, because if you see so many people nowadays, they are so stressed with their projects and probably the company, probably due to finance, or they get stuck about there's something, yeah.
Definitely, and I think it kind of goes well with the next question I have from Luke, who is watching from YouTube, and Luke asks about how's the hustle burnout culture with indie makers compared to funded startups, and I guess the impact of the community also is something to take in consideration, right?
Yeah. So when we talk about burnout, like basically you focus on mental health. So it really depends on your day in, day out, or day-to-day basis kind of thing. So I think most importantly is just to eat healthy food. I think I went through some phases as well, like my experience. I lost my mom, I lost my dad while I was building my startup. It was the second year when I was building my startup. And then after that, I go on, and then some other challenges, like I got really overwhelmed. I built I had these two big projects, like super huge projects. It was like a $15,000 profit making for other company, and then I got it burnout because I was doing so much work, and then I realized that I didn't take care of my health. Like I didn't have enough sleep, and I was eating I don't know, some other food. Like sometimes you are too busy, so you don't have time for cook. So probably you order online, but one of the good tips that I can share is that if you want to order food online, make sure you order something really healthy. If not, try to take care of your calorie intake. And other than that, try to rest as much as you can, as much as you go online. So don't get yourself into this like whole social media thing. Sometimes just switch off is better, and just put your phone and laptops away and just rest and have quality time with yourself or probably your family and friends. And then other than that, I think one of the challenges that I faced was this before I got burnout. So I got this situation whereby I got this symptom, and this symptom was really difficult, and I didn't realize that. I went to the doctor, and the doctor said my sugar blood was really high. I mean, my glucose level. So then the doctor said that I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2, and then I was stressed and burnout. I got really anxiety with like people around me. I don't know why, because like I can't speak to people because the people that I spoke to are not like-minded as me, and it's so difficult for me to let people understand. So that's the reason why I started to go to the indie makers community. I started to go to Twitter. I started to go to Telegram. I started using Product Hunt. I started to use Makerlog. So it kind of like changed the way how I do things, and I like to see and chat and meet other new people as well online. And you don't really need to, spend so much energy. Just like chat and probably call or probably video call, and it's so easy. And I think I like that kind of thing. And from time to time, I kind of like recovered from my burnout, and I started to focus on helping others. So a lot of people are actually facing a lot of challenges actually. So I think exercise is very important as well, and drink lots of water. Yeah.
That's really interesting tips, and I also picked up on the fact that you mentioned spending some time AFK, so outside of away from your screen and away from your keyboard. I think for you that's going to be the case for the coming days, right? You won't really have to do some efforts for that because your laptop is just done. So that's sad, but in the same time, it will force you to spend some time away from a screen.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why in here in the screen I have a yo-yo over here, and I'm just gonna share with you the reason why I have a yo-yo with me. Is because something that you can do anything with it, not really anything, but this was designed by the company in USA. So they kind of create this, so you can actually play yo-yo to get things off from your mind. See if you can see my screen right now.
I love that. Live yo-yo demo. Yes, we can see it. That is so cool. I have no idea how it works, but that's nice.
So I think it's very important if you want to be indie maker or if you want to start a business or anything, don't forget about your hobby, because hobby will help you in your mental health during the difficult times. And I think hobby also helps you to connect with other people as well. Yeah.
Yes. That is a great way to kind of finalize this interview. Before I let you go, I'd like to know if you have any resources that you would like to recommend people to check out, whether it is for learning new things, learning about indie makers, or any a book that maybe you've been reading recently, just anything. I'm sure you have many, maybe too many, and the difficulty is to pick just one or two. But if you had a few resources to share, what would it be?
Okay, I'm just gonna be right back for a while. I'm gonna pick this book.
Okay.
Real quick.
Well, I use this time to say thanks, Knocked Boy, for your follow on Twitch. Good to have you here, and good to see everyone here. And Wanda says, nice yo-yo skills. Yes, it is nice.
So, basically, you can just Google my name, Fajar Siddiq, and you will find me there. Or just go to my domain, fajarsiddiq.com, and you can find other social media.
Yes.
But I like to share with you this book that I got from Stripe. So this book is called Get Together. So this book is really interesting, and you can learn actually how to build communities. And when I started reading, then I realized I was actually doing it already for years. But this book kind of just like give me a reflection of reminding myself, like, get people talking. This is this topic about here. There's really interesting books here. Really good content. How you actually go out and get yourself social with other people. Have this nice photo of this lady laughing and enjoying meeting other people. It's really nice. They kind of give you a lot of like questions as well. So you kind of get some reflect, like how do you hear about this community and blah blah blah. And so I think Get Together is a recommended book. So you can just Google it, and it's from the press, the Strike Press over here. There's a logo here, Strike Press. And other than that, this is just something that I've been reading, but not really. It really depends on your background, but it's related to tech industry. So they have these books for teams from Stripe. They have this very beautiful illustration as well. So I really like how they put up the word, and they have so many people from the experts and the people who have done for many years in the industry, like those global leaders as well, and they provide some nice infographic. So this one is for teams, and then this one is like for open source and like documentation, and as well as internalization. So I've been reading these books. So apart from that, what I could actually also recommend, what else, is to, get ourselves connected. I think if you're watching this, I think Amandine probably, if you have a website that all of us could actually sign up and chat with each other, I really beg so, because I want to join Amandine and the whole other viewers where we can meet. Doesn't matter if it's a new group or like a forum or anything. I would love to join and love to connect with you guys.
That's something that people have been asking me about for quite some time, like if I have a Discord or a Telegram. So I don't know. I think maybe I will need to do something like that at some point, but not just yet. But anyway, I'll put your website also on the description of the video, just to make sure everyone can find, because you know what, on your website, you are certainly the first person that I see with so many links to so many profiles and platforms. Like, I am active on many platforms, and when people ask me if I am here or there, I'm always like, yeah, you can find me anywhere. But you are everywhere. I am not. Like, I feel like a newbie when I look at your website and I see that you are just on every single platform. Like, what's going on? So I'll put your website in the description, just to make sure that people can find you wherever platform they're using. It has been such... Yeah, go ahead.
As much as you learn something, as much as a lot of things go into you, like information, but you also want to put up some information about yourself too. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I put up. But I really like because when I wanted to build my own personal website, I've been thinking for so many years, ever since in 2000. I think 13 or 12, I started to build this website, but it was just a WordPress, and I don't know what to put. Like, should I just put my pictures of Instagram, YouTube, and blah, blah, blah? I think it will be like too much for people. So it took me a while, and I wrote this article about this topic. You can just go to my blog, fajarsiddiq.com/blog, and you can read one of the article, past, present, something past and present design changed my life, and I wrote how I actually built my personal website about this, because I think you got to get yourself out there, not just having a social media. And by doing that, I think is really important, because you don't expect like some big media company or some journalist will interview you. So I think it's really important to put yourself out there on the internet first, like having those links. So one of these thing that recently I've been focusing on is actually using Netlify redirects, where it's kind of work like a short link with your branding name. So example, fajarsiddiq.com/blog, and then people click on it, and it goes to my Medium blog. And for example, I can create fajarsiddiq.com/this conference or this talk that we are talking in the video, and it goes directly to your thing by not creating any page or website, because it takes time. So I use these redirects. It acts as like a short URL kind of thing, and it works well with Netlify and GitHub. And if you don't know how to build that, you can actually ask me or DM me on Twitter, or you can just Google on YouTube, or you can just search on YouTube and find out the information on how to actually do redirects with Netlify, because I find it very useful. And because some of the links sometimes that you share is really long, right? You want to shorten it, but with your own branding name. So these are some tips that I can actually share when building your personal probably personal website.
I'm going definitely to spend some time on your blog because I am right now diving more into different tools. And the thing is, sometimes you want to do something, and if you don't even know the tools available out there, you don't know that you can do amazing things, and without the hustle of doing it on your own manually. So you can automate many things, and I've been diving a bit more into that these days. So I definitely check out your blog. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot, Fajar, for your time and this interview. This has been super interesting, and we have a few people on the chat saying that it has been very interesting to them too. Lots of tips. So thanks a lot. I am going to stay on the stream. I'm going to have a 2-minute break to get some more coffee or more water, and I'm going to get back on the stream for a few minutes on my own just to have a chat with everyone as I do usually. But thanks a lot, Fajar. It has been such a
You're most
pleasure.
welcome.
The video will be available on YouTube on Monday, so I'll send you the link and I'll share it with everyone on social media.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amandine.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Well, a lovely evening. It's already late for you, so enjoy the evening and we'll speak soon.
Speak soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.